Can anybody understand the USA Jobs process as it is listed on their very website? I know I can't, but we're getting ready to decode it so that we can understand it together. I've received questions before about the USA Jobs process, and it's one of the search words. It's actually a loaded question about how spam is made. What's actually in there? I know that there is a process published on their website, usajobs.gov. After taking a close look at it, I think there is something spam-ish about it. So I'm going to go over their process exactly with the intent on interjecting practicalities into their process so that it's easier for you as it's been easier for me. Because as my tagline says, it's how I got mine. So with that being said, let's look at their site. And I'm going to go down through the whole section here. It says, first create and complete a profile to apply for any job on USA Jobs. Correct, got it. Within USA Jobs profile, you can save jobs, accumulate jobs, searches, and manage everything you need to complete your application, including resumes and required documents. Okay, perfect. And once you create your profile, you can search for the jobs. Got it, bravo. Everything's making sense because it's best to sign in your profile before searching. Why can I use this information? Because we can use this information to improve your search results. Hold on a minute. Right there is when we start getting a little decoding, and we got to talk about it. We can use your information to improve your search results. What does your profile have to do with how they use your search results to find a job? Because even when I make an application searchable, which you can do, you hit that thing that says make it searchable. I've never spontaneously received from USA Jobs recommendations or referrals to positions to which I may be qualified. So I have no idea why they're inferring that if you plug in all that information, that they're going to be able to track and provide you searches that are more relevant to your skill sets. Don't believe it. Moving on, it goes on to say you can also use filters such as location, salary, and work schedule or agency to narrow your search results. Absolutely you can. But seeking out a job at this juncture is secondary to preparing your application. After you've made looking for a job, your job, you'll begin to see patterns with USA Jobs. You'll see that some jobs are advertised for 3 days or 3 weeks, and others for 3 months or an entire year. It would be wise, aka smart, and you're smart here, that you have your application ready prior to searching for a job. Because you would be woefully shooting yourself in the foot if you apply hastily, in a hurry, because you didn't thoroughly prepare your application, or worse yet, you uploaded your perfectly done 2-page resume. I've talked about that. All right, let's see what's next. If you find a job you're interested in, and read the entire announcement to determine if you're eligible and meet the qualifications. It's important to read the announcement. Can't stress that enough because there are required qualifications you must meet and include in your application. Absolutely, read the entire announcement. You can even customize your search so that you're specifically applying for jobs based on your area of interest or qualifications, such as jobs for internal candidates, disabled persons, spouses, active duty military. You're able to create a specialized search, and I say create a couple. Read the how-to section of how to apply an announcement before starting on the application. Click apply, and we'll walk you through the 5-step process where you'll attach your resume and any required documents. Goes on to say, during the application process, you can review, edit, and delete your information. We'll automatically save your progress so that you won't lose any changes. Now, right there is where it gets spamish and confusing. They're referencing a process before you've gotten to it. They're asserting that USA Jobs is in itself, by itself, an application because it says during the application process. Did you catch that? USA Jobs is, for all practical purposes, the tool to use to build your resume, aka your profile. And then that profile is applied to applying the job, at least, let's say, it's the initial part of the application process. It is not the application. Just like a federal resume is not truly a resume. A federal resume is the byproduct of completely filling out the USAJOBS application process, because no one would sit down and write an 8-page resume. But that is what you get if you follow the instructions when you're in USAJOBS and filling out your profile in its entirety. That is the result will be when you go to say, look at my documents, and you ask to see your document that is your resume. You'll see that all the information that you put in will be in resume-like format. So that's your federal resume. And USAJOBS is your initial, in my opinion, application. As they state, when your application is ready, you'll be directed to a USAJOB hiring agency system to submit your application. Because before you submit, you may need to complete another agency's required steps, such as a questionnaire or uploading additional documents. Another dinger. Did you catch that one? There it goes again. Did you catch it? It said when your application is ready, when you're directed to the hiring agency system to submit your application. And that is when you'll be able to submit and apply to another agency additional questionnaire. Okay, now that you're ready to apply, the understanding here is that you're in the questionnaire phase. That website is not on USAJOBS. It connects you to another in order for you to apply. If you stop here, you haven't applied to anything. You must then click apply for the job announcement to actually go to the other department. And that's where it gets a little hairy. Now remember, as I've informed you before, throughout my course, everything you say is reflective of your character and the characters you put in usajobs.gov. Consequently, if you followed my guide, you are prepared and you are well able to lay a cookie trail to the questionnaire that will be able to validate your information that you've provided back at usajobs.gov. It all has to tie. Your questionnaire information has to be able to tie to the information that you put in usajobs.gov. And you should be ready for that if you followed the tutorial. And this is why they're referencing the time. The time it takes to submit depends on the job you are applying for and the hiring agency's requirements, which is why I forewarned you that it is in your best interest to prepare your information in advance of beginning your search. That's what I said in the beginning. Let's take, for example, you're clicking the D that says, I'm an expert in this field. They may ask you beneath that to identify where you worked, where you acquired that expertise. And what does that do? That enables them to go directly to your USA job application, AKA your federal resume, and say, this is where they acquired that expertise. So this is why, again, it doesn't benefit you at all to upload that 2-page resume. Because if you're saying that you're an expert, there should be a numerous amount of information. There should be volumes of information for them to be able to glean that you've acquired expertise, not only at this facility, but also the skill sets that validate it. So again, preparation will streamline your stress level and your ability to prepare for as many applications as you so desire to apply yourself to. When it comes to medical positions or positions that require financing or budget, there may be a time test for you to take. So in addition to the questions that you need to ask, you may also have a test also. I know it might not want to be seen as a test, but in all actuality, a test is a test, an assessment is assessment, a questionnaire, a test, whatever it is. You can check your application using the Track This Application link in your USAJOBS profile or contact the hiring agency listed in the job announcement. The hiring agency begins reviewing the applications when the job announcement closes. Boom, close. The hiring agency will place applications into quality categories. Those placed in the highest category are sent to the hiring official. Come on now, we've talked about this and you're smarter than that. Do you really think that the hiring agency means that they're physically going to be HR representatives sitting at a table in order to create categories of qualified personnel? Absolutely not. The managers themselves receive the application after they have been electronically pre-screened to meet the highest categories. The managers themselves receive those applications that have been electronically pre-screened, scanned. They meet the highest category. This list consists of several dozen or fewer that have been whittled down from thousands of applicants that are applying for the position. The hiring official will review the highest qualified applicants and select applicants to interview based on the agency policy. The hiring agency will contact applicants directly to schedule an interview. Not all applicants who are in the highest category are contacted. Now get this, and this is what's frustrating. Not all applicants who are on the highest category are going to be contacted. You're going to think, well, I got referred and nobody called me. That's right. Not everybody gets contacted. And you might not find out that you're not going to get contacted and that you didn't get the job until it comes up posted saying another candidate selected. Your contact may simply be an email letting you know that you are not referred. Not all applicants referred are contacted. But if you're contacted directly, either indicating that you have a contingency hire or that you have an interview, be sure to respond. They're not going to wait on your time. You're going to work on their time. You may be interviewed by a panel, in-person, video, or phone interview, and there may be more than one interview round. For example, an applicant may have a phone interview and then an in-person interview. Scheduling an interview may take some time depending on the number of applicants to interview. I've been called on interviews where I have a 3-week span, and that may sound ridiculous to you, but I know that if you've been following my videos, I've talked about the grinding bureaucracy. Well, it is the same with regards to the application process, if you haven't noticed already. And that's why I'm here, working for you. I've also been interviewed over the phone and been selected for the position just through a phone call. And you may say, how is that possible? Because if you filled out everything in the application process on the USAJOBS side correctly, if it's been validated on the side of the questionnaire, the two come together, and you've been pre-screened through a security clearance. As I've told you before, some jobs provide that to you up front in a contingency basis. They've got everything that they need to know. They're just going through the final steps, just the final steps, and they don't need to know what you look like. So just because you're well qualified, just because you got a referral, and even maybe just because you got an interview, just like in the civilian world, doesn't mean that you got the job. And it absolutely positively doesn't mean stop trying. That list starts over again. So just because you applied for a job, you made it to highly qualified, you got referred and didn't get a call, does not mean that you should not apply quite possibly for that same job again. Because as I've said to you before, the bureaucracy is thick. It's as thick as spam. And I say that because if you were offered a job, say the first of the month, but you couldn't start until the end of the next month, by the time you went through all of the paperwork and the bureaucracy, the grinding bureaucracy, you might have opted to take another job. So if that's the case, then that job comes right back open. So in my opinion, it's not time to quit until you retire, because you're working for the federal government. So keep your boots on and keep trying.